The 90-Day Fiance universe thrives on chaos, messy relationships, bold accusations, wild friendships, and unpredictable confrontations. But few storylines have sent shockwaves through the fandom quite like the one brewing between Luke, his Colombian wife Madelein, and his outspoken best friend Brian, who has now stepped into the spotlight with a claim so dramatic that it's practically begging to be turned into a three-part tell-all segment. According to Brian, Luke is no longer the man he once knew. Their 10-year friendship, built on late-night gaming sessions, cross-country road trips, and shared heartbreaks, has allegedly been dismantled because of one person, Madelein, and Brian is not keeping quiet. In a recent interview clip circulating among fans, he said Luke is acting like someone with Stockholm syndrome, a claim that has fans gasping, debating, and creating memes at lightning speed. But how did we get here? What happened between this once inseparable pair of friends? And what role did Madelein play? Buckle up, this story is pure 90-Day Fiancé gold. The friendship that once was before Madelein entered the picture. Luke and Brian were practically glued together. They met during their freshman year of college and bonded over their shared love of sci-fi movies and dreams of backpacking through Europe. Even after graduating and moving to different cities, they kept their weekly tradition of talking for hours about work, life, dating disasters, and everything in between. To Brian, Luke wasn't just a friend, he was family. So when Luke called him 2 years ago, breathlessly announcing that he'd fallen for a Colombian woman he met online, Brian was cautiously supportive. He had seen his friend dive into whirlwind romances before, always with mixed results, but he wanted to believe this time was different. But as the relationship deepened, Brian noticed changes. Luke's schedule became unpredictable. Their calls became shorter. Slowly, Brian felt his friends slipping away, and by the time Luke decided to appear on Before the 90 Days, Brian felt like he was talking to a ghost of the man he once knew. Enter Madelein, the woman, the mystery. The storm Madelein quickly became one of the season's most talked about cast members. At 24, she was vibrant, outspoken, and undeniably intimidating to anyone who felt threatened by her confidence. Her relationship with Luke was intense from the start, passionate, emotional, complicated, and at times completely chaotic. Fans couldn't agree on her. Some adored her blunt honesty and take-charge attitude. Others felt she was too controlling, too reactive, too possessive. Brian fell squarely into the second category. From the moment he met her during the couple's first in-person filming in Colombia, he sensed tension. He said she barely made eye contact with him, seemed annoyed whenever he spoke, and gave off the vibe of someone who didn't want Luke to have outside influences. In his words, she doesn't want him to have a life beyond her. The breaking point: Brian claims everything changed the week Luke proposed. One day, out of nowhere, Luke called him and said he wouldn't be able to talk as often anymore. "I have to prioritize my relationship," Luke had said. "Madelein feels like your opinion is affecting us." To Brian, this wasn't Luke's voice. This wasn't how his friend talked. Something felt off. "I've known him forever," Brian said in a behind-the-scenes interview. He sounded nervous, like he was choosing his words carefully, like he was afraid to upset her. When Luke returned to the US after filming, Brian expected to reconnect. Instead, Luke went silent, barely answering calls, responding to texts late, and avoiding any get-togethers. That's when Brian began publicly claiming that Luke was not thinking like himself anymore, and that led to the allegation that set social media on fire. He has Stockholm syndrome. In the now viral clip, Brian didn't hold back. "I'm not trying to be dramatic," he began. "Usually a sign someone is about to be dramatic, but I genuinely think Luke has Stockholm syndrome." He defends her even when she's hurting him emotionally, financially, socially, whatever. He's attached to her in a way that doesn't make sense. She's brainwashed him. Fans immediately reacted in two ways. Team Brian: some viewers said they had noticed similar red flags. They referenced scenes where Madelein seemed to dismiss Luke's feelings, shut down his opinions, or make him feel guilty for wanting independence. One fan wrote, "Brian might be exaggerating, but something's definitely up. That man looks scared to breathe." Wrong. Team Madelein: others thought Brian was overstepping. They argued he was jealous, controlling, and simply upset that he was no longer Luke's number one person. They saw his comments as manipulative and disrespectful. Ironic. Another fan tweeted that Brian says she is controlling when he's the one trying to drag Luke away from his wife. The fandom instantly became a battlefield. Luke responds, and fans are even more confused after days of silence. Luke finally posted a response on Instagram. Wearing a tired expression and sitting in what looked like his apartment's dimly lit kitchen, he said, "I'm fine. I'm not brainwashed. I'm just trying to navigate a complicated relationship and build a future. Not everyone will understand my choices. But fans didn't buy the calm explanation. Half thought he looked exhausted and stressed. The other half thought he looked annoyed and tired of being treated like he had no agency. Still, his message didn't address the core issue. Did Madeleine actually push Brian away? Or did Luke simply choose to shift priorities after getting married? The ambiguity only fueled speculation. Madeleine breaks her silence. It didn't take long for Madeleine to clap back, because if there's one thing viewers love about her, it's that she never lets accusations linger. In a fiery Instagram story, complete with dramatic background music, she wrote, "Brian thinks he knows Luke better than Luke knows himself. That's the real problem. I'm not brainwashing anyone. I'm not controlling anyone. I'm not taking Luke away. He's a grown man making his own choices. Maybe Brian needs to look at why he can't handle that." She ended with an eye-roll emoji, and fans ate it up. Some interpreted her confidence as proof that she was hiding nothing. Others saw it as another sign of her dismissive, sharp-tongued personality. The drama only intensified. The fan conspiracy theories begin. What's a 90-day fiancé scandal without conspiracy theories? Here are the most viral ones. 1. Brian was in love with Luke all along. A surprisingly large number of fans believe Brian's attachment stems from unspoken romantic feelings. They claim the intensity of his emotions, the possessiveness, the dramatic allegations. It all points to something deeper. 2. Madeleine doesn't trust American men. Some fans theorize that Madeleine's past included betrayals that made her suspicious of Luke's friends, especially those who seemed protective or too interested in the relationship. 3. Producers are stirring the pot. Many believe scenes were edited to make Madeleine look harsher and Brian look more victimized, all to fuel a love triangle-style plotline. Regardless of the truth, the theories keep coming. The confrontation everyone wants to see. If producers have any sense, and history shows they absolutely do, there's no way they'll skip the chance to stage a confrontation between Brian and Madeleine at the upcoming tell-all. The potential dialogue practically writes itself out. Brian accusing Madeleine of manipulation, Madeleine accusing Brian of jealousy, Luke caught in the middle, sweating bullets, Sean Robinson trying her absolute best to maintain order while sipping tea internally, other cast members chiming in and escalating the situation.